know your shoulder muscles, or your deltoids, can be some of the largest muscles in your upper body by weight, even larger than your latissimus dorsi? Well, now I want you to imagine doing a bicep curl while holding the dumbbell with the tips of your fingers. Silly, right? Well, that is similar to doing a lateral raise with the cuff on your wrist. You're just making the movement unnecessarily difficult for your shoulders to participate in because you're throwing in an extra joint that doesn't need to be there. You see, your elbow in this exercise is not in a very stable position due to
Just real quick, have any of you who have ever done a cuffed lateral raise ever experienced any degree of forearm fatigue in the motion? I'm genuinely curious, just comment if you have.
poor leverage and the stability of a bunch of smaller, weaker forearm muscles. Now sure, maybe your forearm muscles receive a little bit of stimulus, but the star of the show here, your Death Star deltoids, are missing out. And this is why most people are absurdly weak on lateral raises despite deltoids being the largest upper body muscle. To fix this issue, just put the cuff right above your elbow. Now I know this works because of a combination of biomechanics and also the largest muscle in my upper body is no longer lifting unreasonably light weights and my elbow is not sore after the exercise. I have found that this is the most comfortable and targeted way to perform lateral raises to work your shoulders.
All right, 3 major things to address here. Number 1, the reason that you can lift much more weight with the cuff above the elbow variation is because the cuff and the force is half of the distance to the shoulder compared to if the cuff is around the wrist. If you were to move the cuff from your wrist to your elbow with the same amount of load, you would be imposing half the resistance on the shoulder joint, also known as half the torque, and that's why you would lift more. It's not because with the normal variation, the elbow is tremendously unstable or something. Which leads me to point number 2. The elbow, in the case of a cable lateral raise, does not bend in the direction that the cable is actually loading you. In other words, if I'm facing 90 degrees from the cable origin like this, and I have a resistance that's pulling my arm into my body, when I bend my elbow, it moves forward toward the perspective of the camera. It doesn't move sideways in the direction of the cable. This is an incredibly stable elbow position because the elbow, from a structural perspective, is very well supported by the surrounding ligaments as well as the wrench in bolt structure of the elbow joint itself. The muscles that this person is referring to are not muscles that actually move the elbow, but rather the fingers and the wrists. So when the cuff is on top of the forearm, these muscles really aren't loaded anyway. Number 3, I actually do think the variation with the cuff above the elbow can be a super valid variation for any of you who are struggling with elbow-related or forearm-related pains. However, if you are a strong individual, putting the cuff above your elbow means that you're going to have to use about twice the amount of load to be able to impose the same amount of resistance or torque on the shoulder. And again, if you're super strong, this will easily pull you off balance if you're doing it with a single arm. It seems obvious to me that all of these are great variations, and you just need to be careful about thinking that one variation has mystical or magical qualities that the others don't.